Alright everybody, welcome back. Here's Mr. Incredible. As you can see, I'm using this beige pink to do the shadows, and as you can also see, I've already done the base skin tone. And I did a custom skin tone on here just for a base, because I'm playing around with skin tones here. And this beige pink is actually really nice for shadows. And I'm actually going to slow this down a little bit just so you can actually see how I'm going about putting the shadows, you know, around the ear, behind the ear, under the neck, any kind of recesses in the face that you would naturally see some shadow in. And if you guys do want me to show you how I mix this base skin tone, just let me know. Maybe I could do a separate video on that. Alright, gonna be using some of this light flesh mixed in with my original base flesh tone, and just gonna be hitting all the high spots. And you know, on top of his forehead, high spots on the cheek, his ears, his chin, on his neck as well. Just going for that. And just lighten up the skin. And if you could tell that, you know, it does stick out a lot, but in the next step what we're going to do is blend it all in. The shadows, the mid-tone, and the highlights. And we're going to be taking my original base flesh and just watered down a lot and just spraying it. And there you go. Blends in really nice. Gonna be moving on to Mr. Incredible's mask using this gloss black. I'm not sure really why I use gloss black since I'm gonna be clear coating this in matte, but I am testing different paints just to see how they lay down with a brush. And as you can tell, his face is a little shiny. It's because I put on a gloss clear coat. As you can see right here for toothpick, if I get any on the skin, I can just wipe it up real quick. Now gonna be focusing on Mr. Incredible's portrait. Taking this red pastel here, shaving some off on a napkin, and just going over some of the areas on his face which are going to have a little bit of blood collection on there, and using that brush to kind of blend it in and wipe away the excess. It's just, even on the cheeks there's a little bit of redness, so I'm doing that there. As you guys know, I really like using pastels. There's a lot more control, and to me it's a lot softer, more subtle versus an airbrush. You can do the same thing with an airbrush. And now I'm going to be transitioning to these two pastels, mixing them together, and just going over the shadowed areas. Not too much of the red areas that I previously did, but just emphasizing a little more of the shadows I already done, and using that big brush just to blend it in just a little bit, just make it a little more softer. And I'm also doing this on the hairline. I do this to give a little bit of transition from the skin to the hairline. Usually there's a little bit of a shadow there. Taking this ivory here, going to be working on his eyes, and as you can tell his skin isn't shiny anymore. I went ahead and hit that with a matte clear coat. Going to be taking this Monument Hobbies blue, because Mr. Incredible has these really nice blue eyes. Taking this Arctic Gem, doing the inside of those, and gonna go ahead and be doing the pupils and then the highlights. Transitioning on to his hair, and if you look at the reference photos, he doesn't have, like, you know, solid yellow golden hair. He basically has dirty blonde hair, I guess you would describe it. So now that that's done, we're gonna be mixing these two, a little bit of the brown, the umber I believe it was, just to make the yellow a little bit darker. And I'm just going to be slapping this on and not trying to get into the creases, because I do want that variation from the previous color that I already laid down. Time for some highlights. Using this light yellow, going to be dry brushing this essentially all over, but I am going to concentrate more on the top of the head. And after that's all done, I'm calling this portrait finished. Alright, Vallejo Black, gonna be working on his gloves and boots. Not really too much here, just spraying this black all over, just trying to go for full coverage. In the next step, I'll do some highlights. Taking this uniform gray, just gonna be dry brushing. Very lightly, just making sure we give this a little highlight so it's a little less boring. And just showing the comparison, highlight without it. Taking this rubber black marker from 8K, gonna be putting this on. Figured this rubber black would be a good different black color. It gives it a little more tactical look. Doing the same thing for his gloves. I think it turned out pretty good. Alright, gonna be moving on to Mr. Incredible's suit. Gonna be using this Carmine Red, the same one I used for Elastigirl. If you haven't seen that video, you should check it out. For the shadowed areas, gonna be using this Dirty Red. And a confession,
I actually painted both Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible at the same time. Now it's on the highlights. Going to be using this Wicked Pyroly Red, and it's hard to see in the camera, but the highlight is there, and it looks pretty good. Alright, moving on to the logo, and I have attempted to mask off yet again. We all saw how Elastigirl worked out, using this Imperial Fist, going over that, and looking back at it, I should have just brushed on the logo. I should have just painted it with a brush. You know, this paint is atomized, so this tape isn't really sticky. It's supposed to be delicate for paint, so it just gets in if there's a little bit of a lift, it'll just get there. Putting on this black now, just tying it all together, and nothing really too exciting about that. And speaking of not exciting, just using Deck Tan, just going to be putting this on his sash, full coverage. I think it took 2 coats, and I'm trying to be careful here, trying to make sure I don't have any overbrush or anything like that, but accidents do happen, like right now. This happened, I don't know, I dropped it into the paint, tried to wipe it off, but I repainted, and now I'm doing his sash again after the Deck Tan all over. His sash in references are sort of like a dark orange gold. Alright, gonna be working on the base now, and I'm doing the same glow effect. I'm trying to do the same glow effect as I did with Elastigirl. And first thing is laying down the white, then transitioning to this darker red for the outermost corners, because that's where, you know, light distributes, it gets darker. And the orange is going to be the transition color, because the Imperial Fist here is going to be that immediately really bright color. And going back again to the orange, because the symbol does have a lot of orange in it, so using this orange fire, it really depends on which, I guess, render you look at or what reference photo, but I wanted to have a little bit more yellow in there. And I apologize about the video being so dark right here. I'm not sure what happened, but just doing the finishing touches on the symbol right here. Still working on the base, just putting in the black and doing the white in the eye. Finishing touches on the base, going to be using this neutral gray, and from here on out we're just going to be doing some dry brushing, working our way up the highlights. So the next one's going to be a dark sea gray, which is showing right here, and after that will be a sky gray. And for the little rods, I used a dark silver just to have it set apart a little bit. But that's actually it for the painting portion of this video. If you like what you've seen, please like, subscribe. If there's any comments, please leave them in the comments below. Anything you'd like to see that you didn't see. Until next time, take care.